I feel like a lot of other interior design YouTubers have made it their personal brand to talk smack about so-called bad interior design decisions, and I can't promise that I won't do that because I absolutely will. But I'd rather focus on the things that I love because there's so much to love about interior design. If you haven't heard the phrase, "don't yuck my yum," it originated in the kink community and it's kind of just become mainstream now. So in this context, I'm using yum to mean interior design things that I'm like, yes. So, if you're new here, my name is Medora Ikea. I use they, them pronouns, and let's get into it. Most of these are things that I have either literally never heard anyone else talk about before, or I at least haven't seen get enough attention. I've got a list on my phone. So, the first one is metal cabinets and or armoires and or large storage furniture. So whether it's stainless steel or brass, whether it's powder coated, or even if it's not metal, but it's a high lacquer finish, any sort of like shiny thing, not mirrored, anything but mirrored, but metal and lacquer finishes, specifically on like a large piece of storage furniture. Love it. This is probably one of the ones that you've seen more often, but sculptural plants. I've got a few different types of plants listed out here, but anything that you see and you're like, wow, the shape of that trunk or stem or whatever is very interesting and there's a lot of movement happening. Anything like that. So a couple that I have on here are rubber trees, ZZ plants, Norfolk pines, like the one behind me right there, dracaenas, philodendrons, and any sort of large potted tree. And I did say except for fiddle leaf fig trees. I can't stand a fiddle leaf fig. They were so overdone for like a few years, and I love a big sturdy leaf, but I don't love fiddle leaf figs, and they're so hard to care for, and I don't recommend them in any situation. Next is nightstands that are exactly the same height as the top of your mattress. There's not really too much to go in depth here, but any sort of situation where the top of the mattress just lines up perfectly with the nightstand, so satisfying, especially if you've got like a big mid-century headboard with 2 attached nightstands, kind of like the one that the SAR girls actually just did. Very good. And then my sweater today is kind of an homage to this next one, but patterns that are a weird combination of stripes, checks, plaids, and maybe even like some Welsh weaving, especially when it comes in a concise or limited range of color. So not super high contrast in terms of tone, in terms of lightness and darkness, and also not necessarily a super wide range of colors. I like this one is more of a range of colors. There's kind of a lot going on, but I specifically like this on couches, pillows, coverlets, any sort of textiles. Oh, and when there's a contrast piping, especially on a pillow or the edge of a couch cushion or something. So good. So good. I don't really know how to explain this next one, but art that isn't supposed to be art, but it is absolutely art. So like a framed dress or a framed book or like a rug or tapestry that's hanging on your wall, or like something your kid made in art class, like a little clay sculpture or something that's like so bad it's good, you know? Something like that. Stuff like that. I'll try to pop up more pictures here too of what I'm thinking of. I know I've seen a lot more that really just hit the nail on the head. This one, I promise I have never heard anyone else talk about this. A pair of high quality leather boots that you wear all the time, that you leave out in the open, but like, it's fine because it's a vibe. Have you ever thought of this before? Like, they're covered in dog hair right now, but I've got this pair of leather boots that I actually found for free on the side of the road back when I was living in Minneapolis, and they're just a vibe. Like, they're so good, and I wear them all the time. I wear them constantly. So that one might be a little weird and out there, but that's okay. Next one is any sort of old or vintage or nostalgic tech. So a small TV, a film camera, a Walkman, like anything that you look at it and you're like, that is from a different era. That probably means it's cuter than any technology that we have today. And part of that's probably just because of like the time distance. But yeah, old technology. There definitely is a range between like cuter old technology and not so cute old technology. So you'll probably have to go a little bit further back if you're trying to get the cute stuff. Ooh, speakers. Speakers are good too. Those are timeless. This next one I have a really good example for actually in our bathroom, even though we just moved, which is unexpected art placement. That's not to say that you can't center your art over a bed or a couch or a toilet or whatever, and putting it off-centered is also good, but playing around with the size of the art in relation to the size of the space that you're putting it in, that can be an unexpected moment. Putting it way up high near the ceiling or close down near the floor. You have to play around with it, and sometimes it really doesn't work. But putting art in a weird, unexpected place just gives me so many like, yummy vibes. This one, I don't think we're gonna be able to do, unfortunately, in our current place, because there's no light fixture spot. in our living room. There just like isn't an overhead ceiling fixture, but pendant lights that are hung extra low. So like especially a pendant light that is hung very low over a coffee table or a side table or something like that. So good. This kind of goes back to the mattress height and the nightstand height being the same, but headboards that extend to include nightstands, and bonus points if they're actually attached or like integrated together. Again, just like the one that the Sorry Girls did. It's a very mid-century vibe. It's pretty easy to get this vibe if you just get like a 4x8 sheet of plywood, stain it brown, put it behind your bed, secure it obviously, and then either put some freestanding nightstands right in front of it or attach some floating nightstands to it. Super easy, pretty affordable, high impact. All around good vibes. This next one I have heard a few times, but anything that is vintage Ikea. And I should probably not say anything because there are some Ikea things that we don't need to talk about. But anything that has like chrome finish or a pop of color or something like that, especially I've found a lot of light fixtures that are vintage Ikea that I really love. So again, a relatively accessible price point depending on where you find it. If you look on Etsy, they're definitely going to be a bit more expensive, but definitely a quick and easy way to add some like vintage charm to your space. Here is one of the most oddly specific things on the list. Pinch pleat curtains that cover the rod, or at least the bottom half of the rod. So there's curtains that don't cover the rod at all, and then there are curtains that, I mean, we're gonna ignore all of the like really bad curtain offenders, the grommets and everything. But if we're talking specifically about pinch pleat curtains, you can do it so that you see the rod above, but I don't like that. I think you need to cover at least half, if not 2/3 of the bottom of the rod. You can see the top of the rod just poking out just a little bit, or fully covering the rod. That way it kind of gives the illusion of track curtains, which again, very mid-century. A lot of mid-century things are making a comeback, but for a good reason. And then when it comes to art, I've been really into frames and mats that are super oversized in comparison to the size of the art. So think this or this or this or this or this or this rather than this. You get it, right? It's like so much better. And then on the same topic of art, specifically relief sculptures. If you haven't taken an art class and you're not familiar with that term, basically, it's like a 3D sculpture, but it's like, you put it on the wall so it's flat, but it is 3D, is I think the easiest way to put it. There's just something about them that feel so ancient and like rooted in humanity, and like, there's just like something about it that really gets me going. I don't know. And then I'm gonna try to pop up a picture of my bed. I'm still very much in the process of acquiring a new mattress and everything, so it's not finished. I've really been loving a thin bedspread that is at least one size too big, that will drape all the way down the sides of the bed. It'll touch the floor, and it'll also cover your pillows, because I've really specifically been loving where you lay the bedspread out, put the pillow here, you like have the bedspread come up and over the pillow. Again, it's so simple yet so effective. You don't have to try to match your sheets to your bedspread. It's all just like one thing, maybe throw like one accent pillow on there. It's one of those things that just like less is more, you know? Less is more. And then last but certainly not least, which you've probably seen if you've been following Lone Fox or any other sort of Spanish revival style, and that is wrought iron, specifically chairs, benches, candlesticks or candelabras, side tables, anything like that. If you're not aware, there's different types of iron, and this is not in a scientific sense, this is more in terms of how the iron has been processed kind of sense. So wrought iron is usually like in some sort of a rod, and it's like heated and twisted or bent or whatever. There's forged iron, which is heated and usually hammered just to like give that like really old world effect. And then there's cast iron, which is like what a cast iron pan is made out of, where you pour molten metal into a cast. So those are the different types of iron, and cast iron will always be classic, but yeah, I've been really into wrought iron recently. And that's the list. I'm sure I'll come up with more oddly specific interior design yums and possibly yucks, so let me know if you want those. If this video catalyzed any like niche obsessions for you, please let me know by doing all of the, you know, YouTube-y things that tells the almighty algorithm that you enjoy my content. And peace.